Yeah.
All right, so first on our agenda is our approval of our special meeting minutes from our last meeting on the 23rd. Has everybody had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Go ahead. You did? Okay. Okay.
I'll make a motion to second.
Do I have a second? I second. All in favor? Or any opposing? All in favor?
Yep.
Motion passed. So our meetings have been accepted. Next up on our agenda is our public comments. I think we've got a sheet started here. Looks like we've got quite a few folks here. Thank you all for coming, first of all. So we're going to start off with Representative Bill Wesley. If you would like to chat with us, and again, we've got several people on our list, so if we can keep it relatively short.
I just wanted to come and introduce myself tonight. I want to commend you guys for your hard leadership and what you're doing. The Natural Bridge area and Red River Gorge is the second most visited place in Kentucky besides Cumberland. I believe we want to pass that up, beat that. So with your leadership, we're going to do anything we can. I just wanted to come and introduce myself, tell you we're 100% behind you. You guys are a huge talk in Frankfurt. I'd like to invite all of you to come up and meet our board on the tourism board. And if there's anything that you're in need of, I'd like to reach my arm out to you and try to help you.
That's awesome.
But anyways, I want to just thank all of you and the leadership here of the city councils, both of them, the council members and the county judge, all the magistrates. So I believe the leadership here in this community is going to push forward. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Melanie Watkins for Relay for Life.
I'm Melanie Watkins, like she said, representing Relay for Life here today. 2.5 years ago, we brought Relay back to the community after a 7-year absence, which means we have a lot of work to do. We have so much work to do to get the community involved, to get survivors understanding what it's about. And for anybody here that doesn't know, Relay for Life raises money for the American Cancer Society. And I would almost bet that every person in here could probably raise 2 hands to say that your family or yourselves have been affected by cancer. It's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure that it is to everybody else in here. So with that, we would love to be able to work with you all and to bring it back full force this year. We've had a good 2.5 years raising money, but we know that it can be better. At one time, Powell County got awards for the massive amounts of money that we raised. And I know that we can do that again. I know that we can as a community. So I would love to be able to sit down with you all and work out a plan for sponsorship or for help with advertising. We have a lot of events coming up. The Relay event itself, we're going to schedule for October the 5th. We'd like to use the park for that. I've requested online for that usage. I'm not sure if you all even have anything to do with that, but we'd like to use the park for that again. And we've got swap meets coming up. April 27th, we've got a swap meet. We've got an adult prom that went really well last year. Everybody just gets fancy and forgets they're an adult for a night. It's awesome. We've got a lot of fun things planned, and we would love for the tourism board to help us out with it. Before I sit down, I did want to actually thank Representative Wesley. He's been a big support of ours for the past 2 years, so I do want to commend you on that. Since you're here, it wasn't planned, but since he's here. So thank you all. I hope that we can work together.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, go ahead.
We do have a formal grant
process, which you're more than welcome to do, but as far as advertising stuff and any of that goes, as far as our social media goes, let us know anything that's going on, we'll share it, try to get it.
I actually did see the grant application online, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. But it didn't have, it had, Taffy Milby's name. So
You can
I didn't-
request one from Tree City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll need to get that fixed online.
Yep.
Okay, so next up we have Stephanie Faulkner with the Ignite Impact Club. Hello.
So, most of you all know me, I'm Stephanie Faulkner. I was city clerk here for 14 years, maybe. This is Jessica. She is the owner of the gym. We are here on behalf of our cheerleaders. We have over 60 now, and 30 some of them are out of town.
Yeah, so we have 60 all-star cheerleaders, about 150 total kids within the program. Some of those are just gymnastics, some of those are cheer. Probably 30, I counted today, I don't remember what I sent you, but 30-ish that are out of town. Montgomery County, Lee County, Wolfe County, Owsley County, a couple from Clark County, so, and then the rest are all Powell County students.
So we do bring in other counties, for their gym. It's not just for Powell County kids. So like she said, we have over 60 cheerleaders, and it costs a lot of money to, these uniforms are over $450. Competition fees are, it's over $95,000 just to send all these girls to competition this year. And that's, throughout the end of the year. So we're always looking for ways to fundraise. So we're asking if maybe we could help co-host car shows or different events for the community. We have a lot of parents that will, some, I shouldn't say a lot, that help fundraise and help volunteer, but we do have a good crew that, that will help and work with us to raise some money. We have done all kinds of fundraisers. We've sold candy bars. We've stood at Sam's Club. Jessica's worked there for 23 years now. So we have stood at the doors begging for money at Sam's Club. We've sold candles, bread. What else have we sold? Laundry detergent. We've done car washes. So with the events that we've done the float for the parade. We performed at the high school. We've done that when we first started with the performance cheer. We have team bonding, sleepovers. We've done a coat drive. I think we've done that last year. We've done cookies with Santa. So we're just looking for any way at all to help raise money for our cheerleaders. Yes, Joey?
Stephanie, how many events throughout the year did you just estimate that you all got scheduled this year as far as competition and the distance that you all may be traveling?
So I'll tell you that I wasn't prepared to speak.
That's okay.
But I will tell you that we are circling around the end of our season. So the season starts in July and it circles around through May. So we have 2 in March, 1 in April, 1 in May left over. Those competitions are in Florida, so we have 3 teams going to Orlando, Florida. They'll compete at Disney and Orange County Convention Center. We have 2 more competitions in Louisville and 1 competition in Lexington. We've already completed probably 8 competitions for the year so far. In July, we will have tryouts. I think it's important to mention, I'll say that I wasn't prepared for this, I'm not a public speaker either though. I think it's important to mention that the money that is raised, a lot of times with money and funding, there's a lot of confusion. So with the money that's raised, all of that money goes into a nonprofit 501c3 account. Does not go into a business account, doesn't go into the Ignite account, doesn't go to me. It goes strictly to an athlete booster club account and is paid toward athlete fees. So
And it's
If
the
they-
only thing we can use it for, is
Yes.
for our kids.
Yeah, if they do not get that funding, then the parents have to pay for that. So it's 95,000-ish that we have successfully been able to raise through fundraising. A lot of that fundraising we have also went out of county. I know it's super hard when you have the same pool from the same people, but we really want anyone to be able to participate that wants to participate. We work super hard for families who cannot pay to help support them and get their athletes to Florida. We've been to Indianapolis. So any of the funding that we do is strictly into that 501c3. It is not touched or paid. No one gets salaries out of those accounts. All of that strictly goes to funding of competitions and really just competitions, right? Yeah.
We don't have any extra or anything else under $95,000.
So your first event's in March?
Our last competition is in
It'll be in March.
April, our next one is,
Yeah.
So we'll have one in April.
But, any events that we can help with, I mean, we'll have to just supply the place and the trophies,
Sure.
for a car show.
Well, I think it's important to all of us that we really want to support the community events and do as much as we can for our community members. So I think it'll be something.
I know in the past with our events, we've had issues having people work those events, so that could be something.
That we can partner with.
We have issues with parking at the drive-in as well as trash pickup and stuff like that, so.
Even like the Pumpkin Fest and things, there's a lot goes on with that in October that we've reached out a few times and we've needed extra hands and.
We would definitely have a need.
Yes.
And I mean, we've literally tried to pay people more than what we should and still can't get people to do
Built
stuff.
more on probably the donation basis for working and assisting with these things that we do are involved with.
We had, not last year, I guess year before, we parked cars at the movie night at the drive-in. We've done that. We parked cars for the corn festival.
Yeah, we had parents who did restroom cleaning duty for the corn festival. I think that they were paid out for that. They parked cars when they did the drive-in theater. We tried to, we were unsuccessful at trying to get, even movie nights that we could host if we purchased. I say we, I guess the business purchased like the movie for the theater at the drive-in. But there was some conflict there on the funding from the concession stand, so it wasn't going to be profitable for us. We tried to get a car show, I think, and weren't successful on a location because we don't have a location within the city or even the county that would be suitable for something of that sort that would drive in some traffic. So we're trying to think of ways, like I said, to pull from not the same people or the same parents or grandparents that could also kind of tap into visitors coming within the county if they're passing through like car shows. Like, how could we get money coming out,
Would the drive-in be something that would be helpful, you think, if you had access to use the drive-in as a car show possibly?
I think so.
Because movies are really hard for us because we can't charge to see them because we don't actually pay for the movies. We lose money whenever we put on, movie events. So like I said, it's hard to sell that as a fundraiser to anybody, but.
But could you take like donations?
Yes.
Like, cars coming in? I mean, not really charge on something, but
You guys would be.
we could
Yeah.
do that.
You all could do that. You all could actually set up a tent and do that with donations as people come in.
There's several different things.
I mean, I think we could work together
Yeah.
and come up
Did
with
you,
Definitely.
a lot of
did you have
events.
anything filled out as far as?
Just your contact information for
Okay.
Sasha would probably be sufficient.
Actually, our application, but you don't have to, you can review that maybe for next month or
Okay.
something, but my name and number's on there.
Yeah, we can definitely take a look at it.
Yes. we'll definitely take a look. Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you. Okay, next up we have Miss Carol Maggard.
First off, I'm going to say I can't stand because I think my foot's broken. The lady ran over me yesterday on my right foot. I want to tell the board that I can see a 360-degree turnaround since you guys have started. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I want to thank all the county and the city officials that have showed up tonight. Scott, we're glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Can't do without you. And to all the people, the community that's coming out, I'm amazed. I've sat in this room for 4.5, going on 5 years, and most of the time I was the only one here. I felt like an idiot, but I kept coming back. So keep up the good work. I want to thank Nick for coming from Whitesburg. I grew up in Hazard, and I know it's a long drive down here.
Oh, no, I've
Can't wait
really
to see
enjoyed my
your
time here today. It's a gorgeous community. I love it.
And that's all. I thank everybody.
Okay, next we have Mr. Darrell Billings.
Thank you very much for having me. The first part of it is going to be more on a personal level, and I think I've got some stuff to share with you guys tonight that came from the High School Athletic Association later on the agenda. But for those of you that don't know me, I am running for state representative in the 91st District, which encompasses Powell, Estill, and 11 precincts in Madison County. I spent most of the day in Madison County today, and it seems like we're hearing the same resounding voice. I can only promise you that when you send me to Frankfort, I'll go to Frankfort and I'll take you with me. Not the thought of you coming to Frankfort. I'll have you in Frankfort with me. You'll have my phone number, my personal cell phone number to get in touch with me for contact information. And the only thing I can promise you that I'll do is I'll take 45 years of dedication to Powell, Estill, and the counties we serve to Frankfort with me. And it's nice to hear the 501(c) corporation from Midnight. I did not know that. I've give hundreds and hundreds of dollars to that organization and did not realize you all were a 501(c) corporation. I'm very familiar with that. I started a 501(c) corporation with Powell County Baseball in 2000, and we raised over $400,000 for Powell County Baseball from 2000 to 2012. So pretty substantial. I know one of your board members was a recipient of some of that money that we got to pass throughout this community. So it's nice to see that you guys have taken the right approach on that 501(c) corporation. I do believe that the job of our state legislature is to bring dollars to us, not for us to go to them. Our job is to bring it to this community. And I don't know any other way to say that. We've been unrepresented in this community for 53 years. 53 years since we've had state representation in this community. If we keep doing what we're doing, we're going to keep getting what we got. You guys have raised your money that you serve and you use every single day through a 3% tax that our customers, our community has been paying for. We've not seen any dollars come from any unknown source. That's got to stop. And I firmly believe that I'm capable of going to Frankfort and building a consensus with the folks that are there. I've got the endorsement of 2 congressmen, the endorsement of our state treasurer, the endorsement of our state agriculture commissioner. I plan on going to Frankfort and being able to bring money back to Powell and Estill County, and that's my intention. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Mr. Eddie Barnes.
That's me. All right.
Oh, go ahead.
First of all, thank you, Joey. I appreciate it. Sasha, Joey, thank you all of you for having me. Last week, Sasha and Joey and myself had met over the office and talked about some ideas. A lot of good things that they're looking at. Excited to see what we're going to go to. I see Backroads Appalachia here. Tickled to death. I know his boss from a long time ago. And a little bit, you're going to see what they do. But last year, I think it was Churchill Downs, the Kentucky Derby Day. They had a little spot going on at the drive-in, And Eric, his boss, calls me about 2 days before and says, "Hey, you want about 150 cars down there?" And so, sure, why not? So brought anything, Porsches, Lamborghinis, all kinds of exotic cars down here. Parked them up at the courthouse. You'd be surprised the people that came down just to look at the cars. Talking about the car shows and stuff. We've actually talked this year about having some more shows and stuff down here, getting a little bit more bigger. Instead of a one-day car show or anything like that, we're going to have like a full weekend. That's going to bring revenue into Clay City, Stanton, and Powell County. And whenever we work, that's one thing that, there's no jurisdictional lines here. There's not just a Stanton, Clay City, Powell County. That's us. That's all of us. And we're here to work for the people and do good. Excited to see what y'all want to do, and I think it's going to be great. But I can't wait to see the video that he's got now, because
I gotta get some Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But one of the things I'll add on this car show that they brought in, we took them out road racing, kind of a little road race, and they loved it. They love Powell County. He did get to see what tunnel?
No, native.
Yeah, there you go. He started saying nada. We corrected him real quick on native versus nada. Nada's not a tunnel. Native is. But anyway, anything that I can do to help, I'm all about it. Same as the fiscal court, they're here to work for the people, and let's bring Powell County up. Stanton, Powell County, Clay City. So again. Was that my sign?
No,
Go shorter. But again, if anybody has any questions or comments or anything like that with our county government, feel free to call us anytime. Doors always open. And thank you. Thanks again.
I just want to say real quick, when Eddie brought those cars up last year, we didn't know they were coming to a drive-in, and here come the police cruisers. And Eddie actually, when they pulled in, Scott was there, at the front entrance, and the mayor and others, and they just came in, and everybody just started coming to those cars. And when those guys got out, of course, they went to the concessions. But we found out that they had stopped at several of our local businesses and already have ate in Clay City and Stanton. So they actually had already spent money before they came there. When they got out, they said they was going to make another trip through town. And then I found out that, like Eddie said, they got to go on some rides up to the Natural Ridge and areas like that. But I know we was appreciative of what you all did bring them there, because it really helped everything, and we appreciate that.
Oh, we loved it. And the thing about it is, that's Eric covered his boss. That before we left the courthouse, that's what he told him. He said, we're here to support this community. And if you want something to eat here. If you want to stay here. Don't go to Winchester. Don't go to Mount Sterling. You support Powell County. And most of that revenue that's going to come in is going to come back to Powell County. It's a lot of, he has some ideas as far as donations and stuff like that, and it could be for Ignite. He's wanting our, to supplement our dispatch, to buy them some stuff. But I think Ignite would be great. Any of our organizations, that is helping our kids succeed and progress. That's what we need to do. And a lot of times they're not as fortunate as other people to have money, and they struggle. That's what I was telling Mark, earlier, that my two girls was in cheerleading also, and we did everything from raffles to bingo, pull tab sales, and all that. It takes a lot of money, and if we can support them, that'd be great.
Well, like the event they're talking about, we can possibly actually, like you said, use Ignite for a fundraiser as well that day, and take donations in with them, because people's bringing in all those expensive cars, and I'm sure they'd be glad to donate as well, those drivers, and I think that would be positive.
They do. They always go above and beyond.
And actually, that day, and this was not a planned event, that day that they did take a bucket around and say, hey, and I forget what the cause was, but they took up a bunch of money, and I don't know where it went, but it was for somebody here in Powell County. Eric's wonderful about helping us and
They're
I can't,
they're nonprofit as well.
yeah, and I like I say, I can't wait for the future here. But thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Neil Hamilton.
I was asked to be here on behalf of the Lions Club. We had met with Sasha and Joey at our last meeting. We discussed putting 2 baseball fields up at the Lions Club, getting them going for events, tournaments, try to bring some of the tournaments back to Powell County. And also Stanton, we have a big lot over there, a bunch of property. Plenty of room for car shows, setting up food trucks. I mean, and the only thing we use it for through the year is the fair. We partnered, or we started last year with a Halloween, the trunk or treat. It was super successful. They had been one of them in Stanton for several years. It keeps the kids off the street. We're wanting this coming year to maybe do like a hayride for children, maybe a little haunted trail, and have it even bigger this year. Tourism was kind enough to donate inflatables whenever we done it. It's pretty successful with the James. But we're looking forward to working with y'all on the new baseball diamonds. About 2's all we can fit over there. The one thing we have to discuss is the insurance. We've actually got a gentleman that we're partnering with right now to put on a couple of derbies, one in April and one in May. If he can get the insurance worked out, then we'll have one April the 6th and May the 18th. So
I just want to thank Neil for always sending out PCDC whenever we needed. If you saw the decorations in town, they played a big role in helping getting the decorations up. They've always been willing to help. He's made sure that we've had the people that we've needed. Neil actually personally has been up to the drive-in when we've done events. He's volunteered his services as well to help with the decorations and come up and check out things. And as he talks about the ball fields, we have Parks and Rec here tonight. Daniel Poe's here with Parks and Rec. Chad. We've got the City Council, Rhonda with the City Council. We've got, like you said, Mark back there. We got Mark. I don't want to miss anyone. But when we were doing this, when we were discussing back just about putting events on throughout the year, Neil reached out and said anything that you all need. So me and Sasha and myself, we went to the meeting to the Lions Club, and they were very gracious about talking with us and letting us know what they were looking at. So the Parks and Rec, Daniel and them, from what I've been told, they've been working together as a group about bringing tournaments to Mr. Cheney that brings in 25 to 30 teams per year to these big tournaments. People will be staying here for 1 and 2 days at a time, sometimes over the entire weekend. So they would need those fields over to utilize along with the city parks fields, he said, to host these kind of tournaments. Because he's in Montgomery County right now doing this. So I know we want to get that here. We want to work with you all. I think the board would be in agreement with that. The Lions Club and parts to work together to get them tournaments. Because if you speak to your business folks, when you're having tournaments and those ball fields are full, that city park's full, people are in your restaurants, they're in your local shops, your car washes, your cabins, Airbnbs, and motels. So that's what it's about, bringing people here and also having something for our local folks as well. Neil, we just want to thank you for all you do, and we'll be back and look forward to working with you.
Daniel Poe.
Joey pretty much said everything I was going to say.
He's been the hero this evening.
Don't embarrass him now.
But yeah, I'm here with the Stanton City Park. I'm the Stanton City Park manager. Joey asked me to come and talk about kind of what he just said. We're wanting to do a lot more with ball tournaments and different things like that. Ball tournaments and travel sports is a business. A lot of people think it's just summer activities, but it really is a business. It's a multi-million-dollar business that cities and counties and different towns all around the U.S. use every year. I know for a fact my older brother travels constantly once it hits summertime till he has to go back to school, constantly on the road, travel ball, different things like that. Mark Cheney's one of the people that Joey mentioned. That's one of the main guys around this area that puts on these travel ball tournaments. If you really look at numbers, there's about 20 to 30 teams at each tournament, just about. It varies depending on the amount of fields you have and different things like that. On each team, you have about 10 to 12 players, and for each player, you probably have 2 to 4 family members, could be more, could be less, that are traveling with them to these events. When you put on these big tournaments with all these different teams, there's a lot of dead time where you're not playing ball, and that's massive for the community, because when I have 3 hours free around 12 to 3, I'm hungry. So I'm going to go eat food at Dairy Queen or wherever. And then it's good for other things as well, for just the different businesses in the community, the gorge, different things like that, to where we can really gain a lot of revenue. Other than that, I've been working with Sasha and Joey and everybody else on just the different things they've been doing as far as tourism goes. You guys have done a great job. Thanks for all the support. We'll support you all as well. Other than that, I'm just trying to think about what else there is. Nothing really. I mean, we got Little League coming up, different fall sports, or not fall sports, spring sports. That's what's coming up, spring. We have different spring sports coming up. Sign up for that. Are online right now. We're gonna try and get signs up for small businesses and different businesses around the community to sponsor Little League, putting their signs up, and just that way it shows that they're sponsoring for the children, the youth, and helping our community out and things like that. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Our meetings are every Wednesday. First Wednesday of every month. At the Stanton City Park and the concession stand, if you guys wanted to come by and join. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and then to round out, we have Joy, Miss Joy.
I'm Joy McFarland. I work for the city. I do the water bills. I'm coming to you on behalf of the Powell County High School Band. We're just looking for fundraising also. And pretty much said everything that we do.
I'm sorry.
So helping at events and
Yeah,
things.
help at events and do garbage. I mean, they do garbage every ball game, after all the ball games, because we do concession. So they're picking up garbage every night at all the ball games that they perform at.
I don't want to overspeak, but I think the band at night, whoever it may be, as long as it's children in this community through our schools, there's enough funding and revenue coming into this tourism board. We've got room to bring these entities in and work with them and help with, let them help work with us. And I feel like our chair lady here, she's been clear about that from the beginning. It's about our community and working with others. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Here's this back to Roads of Appalachia.
My name is Nick Sexton, and I work for Back Roads of Appalachia. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and our sole mission is to bring money and economic wealth to central, rural, all areas around the Appalachian Mountains and eastern Kentucky, central Kentucky, and just push traffic through. That way people are spending money. And by show of hands, who all knows what drifting is?
Okay.
I let you get in my group.
We
I always wanted to try that, but I didn't want to drive. I want to be in the passenger seat.
Me too, yeah. We recently, last year, in Beckley, West Virginia, we hosted the first American Tollgate event in the USA history. And Tollgate is a motorsport that originated in Japan in the early 1970s. And it's not racing necessarily. It's like synchronized swimming with cars. It's all about style and like judging. They get judged because they don't like it. It's not timed or anything. But I have a video here. I'm gonna play for you guys. I didn't choose the music, so. Over here, turn it up. May not have sound, but. Yeah, that was in Beckley, West Virginia, and all of these drivers are handpicked. They, some of them race for Formula Drift, which is like NASCAR for drifting, pretty much. And that specific truck right there, they're part of a organization called the Coilover Department. And this video of that truck has been viewed over 2 million times. Like every time I log on my Instagram, it's just likes on that video. And I'm posting stuff and I'm like, man, like my stuff too, you know? But I mean, it was such a huge hit. And we do a festival for the town of just your all's choice, wherever you want to have it. Either the night of or the day before or both. And we would like to include each and every person in this room. I'm talking to absolutely everybody. Anybody that wanted to be a part of it, we can help organize car shows. That is no problem whatsoever. I'll give everybody a business card from me, and all you got to do is reach out to me, and we can help do that. But this is our first event we plan to do in June here in Stanton. And it's right off the old highway in Slade. My boss Eric Hubbard knows exactly the route. But yeah, we got that video, and then I put together a little Canva presentation, just telling a little bit about us. But yeah, we are Backroads of Appalachia. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. We've it started 4 years ago, and it all started in a little town called Lynch, Kentucky. It's the town that built America that got forgot about because it was one of the biggest coal mining industry towns ever. And we started our first welcome center there in Lynch, Kentucky. It's right around Harlan County, and ever since then, it's took off, and it's amazing. But we're a family recognized nonprofit, and our goal is to just promote community first always, and drive traffic through every town that we can, and bring any kind of events that we can to the town. Community first. Every event that we have, we invite each and every person from the community. It's always free. And anybody that has local vendors, local businesses, local crafts, food trucks, all can come set up free of charge. We like seeing everybody in the town come out for it because it's a very different thing, and once you experience it, it's something else. I didn't really know what I was getting into whenever I first started this job, which I've always liked, old American muscle cars and stuff. But now I've rode in McLarens and Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and I brought 150 supercars to my hometown of Whitesburg, Kentucky last May, and I've never seen Whitesburg that full before ever. But we always promote all of our groups to support local businesses. We shop local, and we have 25 different car groups that we're in touch with. We always tell them to shop local. We have our mobile application, which you can download on the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And we have over 40 trails right now, over 4,000 miles of just Appalachian fun roads to drive. And people, it amazes me to see the people that just wants to come and bring their cars down here just to drive our roads, and they really, really love the humble hospitality of the Appalachian Mountains. That's something that they don't get up in the city. But yeah, drifting, it's a sport. Drifting originated as a technique, just like how to get around turns quicker. But then people started having a lot of fun with it, and they just get sideways and destroy tires, and it's really cool. But every event that we host, it's all about the community. We invite every single person, any local businesses, crafts, vendors, etc., schools, the Ignite, absolutely anybody that would want to be involved. And we would love to help organize some car shows for y'all too. Let's see, future. Yeah, for the future, we can absolutely help organize car shows. And then there's a potential for rally events. How many in here knows what rally racing is? We recently, last year, we had the first sanctioned rally race in Jackson County in McKee, the Boone Forest Rally, and we partnered with the American Rally Association, and so we're all sanctioned, and we got like everything professional we need to do. We're having the next rally race in July in Jackson County. So we would love to bring, if it would be a possibility, we're partnered with SCCA Hill Climb. We do 4 hill climb events a year. It's the Sports Car Club of America. The first one that's coming up is in Pineville, Kentucky. It's the Pine Mountain Hill Climb. It's April 21st to the 23rd. And then there's going to be 4 more of those. And probably the biggest draw, and where all your money's going to come from, is the mobile app. And like these car groups that message me, and I build them itineraries and tell them where to go, and like just tell them like where to shop, where to stop. We got points of interest on our mobile app, so like all of the businesses, any local businesses will be on the mobile app, and they can just click right on that. And we actually have a trail called the Eye of the Dragon up at Nat Tunnel. Yeah, it's not a tunnel, it's Nat Tunnel. But yeah, motorsports enthusiasts, I didn't expect people to just have such a love for driving and their cars that we've had people come from Alaska on motorcycles, like Canada, Alaska. We had a group of enduro bikes last year come from Australia just to ride our roads. And you get on our mobile application, and it has a full list of all of our trails, and you just click on it, and it takes you right to the start, and just like following Google Maps, But the grants that Mr. Hubbard was requesting for would be $5,000 that would go directly to the professional media coverage and Drift Appalachia, which would be, I've never seen videos that good. Like they're awesome. They have drones, GoPros. They're the best of the best, and they'll be highlighting the whole city of Stanton, highlighting any businesses, any and all businesses, any and all entities that want to be a part of it. And the other grant was $6,000 just for a yearly partnership, and that's just to continue promoting the city of Stanton, bringing Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches through here, bikes, you name it. And even we're even getting into off-road, so Jeeps and stuff, doing that. So that would be popular for the gorge big time. But yeah, I think that there is a lot of potential for a really good turnout around here. Like just for example, last year we had a $41 million economic impact in Kentucky and West Virginia, and even just like as a solo person, the average daily spend was $300 in the community. They stay 3 or 4 days at least. We had 94 events last year, 453 plus jobs supported. We had almost 50,000 visitors come to Kentucky and West Virginia from all over the world to come out to our events. We hosted events in 51 counties. We got 1,300 plus points of interest on our app, and that just keeps growing every single day. Because I get on there and I just start putting stores and local businesses on there. But We have a 75 million reach in social media right now. That's steady. It's a steady 75 million reach. And I've been working on our social media strategy, and it's been growing pretty good here lately. So, but yeah, our motto is community first, always. Like that's our whole goal is to drive traffic through and support economic wealth in any and all towns. And anybody that would want to be a part of anything, I'll hand out business cards. I can help organize car shows, and I would really love to see y'all at the Drift event in June. I think y'all really enjoy it. It's insane. The first rally event that I went to, I had never experienced anything like that, and it was in Missouri. It was called the Rally in the 100-Acre Wood. Kim Block, he used to run there. He won like the last 4 years in a row, and I was laying in a ditch on the side of the dirt road trying to get some good footage, and I had some coveralls on. It was like 10 degrees. I was freezing, but you could hear the car coming from like a mile away, and then I was just laying there waiting on it to come. And man, it gets scary, but those are some cool shots. but seeing cars fly by on the dirt doing like 120, fly through the air, I mean, it never gets old for me. Which I've always been a hot rod guy. I got an old Mustang, you know, so. But yeah, and thank you all so much for letting me come out and speak. And I'm glad that I got to come on behalf of Mr. Hubbard, because I've had a fun day, and I'm glad that I got to meet you all.
And I know that when I spoke with Mr. Hubbard, he had mentioned about when you all come for your event in June, you know, to possibly set up the night before here in town with some of the cars and things like that.
Absolutely, yeah. We would be doing the same thing that we done in Beckley, West Virginia, and we're just gonna make it a big community festival. We're gonna have like pile all the really cool professional drift cars in, and invite anybody and everybody out that wants to have anything to do with it. And I mean, I'll hand out business cards to everybody.
So, the next day then, this event will be going on up at Slade then, that Natural Bridge. So the drift event will be going on.
Yes, sir.
So the day before, all the marketing, advertising, if we approve this, would be highlighting the city of Stanton.
Oh, yeah.
And this will be going viral.
Oh, yeah. Well, the one in Beckley's got over 2 million views, I know for sure. And that's just on Instagram and YouTube. That's not counting Facebook. And
So our youth, we could involve them, just like we talked about, they can be involved to do fundraising and whatever they want to do.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I want to involve anybody and everybody that wants to be involved. I'm here to help the community. That's community first.
What was the total on that? What was the total on the amount?
Oh, the impact? $41 million in 2023.
So how long have you been in town actually today, as far as today? Have you been here a few hours today?
Oh yeah, I came early today, and because I've never been to Stanton, and my boss actually got me a GoPro yesterday, so I put my GoPro on my little rally car out there and took it through the native tunnel and checked out the gorge area and the natural bridge area and a bunch of the little shops around here and the Veterans Park and the Stanton Rock. I've got all kinds of pictures. I've went everywhere, but I've really enjoyed spending some time in y'all's town. It's been a really good time.
So this will be in June, correct? That's what we've got.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I definitely would. I make a motion to accept.
I'll second it. The chair actually has authority to.
I don't think we can actually vote on grants yet.
They have.
We have the application.
She has. But we'll actually,
Yeah.
Kim actually pays on a couple of times. We went ahead because of that.
So this is the bunch that was here several.
They actually come and we
And we
approved.
forgot to vote on it.
Yeah, we actually was going to go with them. It's the same one that we was going to approve.
Yeah, it was approved.
You actually
Yeah,
spoke up on
Barbara,
it.
yeah. And so we can.
It's going to be the
Are you
board.
listening to this?
We approved.
Yeah, I remember. We approved it, but we didn't vote on it for the funding. It was probably, when were you all here? That's been, oh my gosh, a year ago.
That
or-
was before I.
That was-
But it was
around
still
COVID.
your group, correct?
Exactly. So
What would y'all be, what amount would you be approving?
How much money will we get?
5,000.
5,000 media.
6,000.
Yeah, and
So
so
that's
it's
over
asking for just a yearly partnership.
And then what would happen, we had actually, like Mike said, had spoke up on it before, and I think it was during the COVID time. And that's when it was, and they had planned to do a big event, but this is tied in for the entire weekend. with the-
Right, I understand that, we just need to figure out if that's.
Should we approve? Are we looking at both of them?
I don't think I'll do the 10-day waiting period. That's what we're done periodically. It's what y'all put in place in the past. So how long have we had that application?
We'd have to go back, I mean,
That's just in motion.
and actually what had
That's not a
happened,
new
Scott,
application.
what had happened, Scott, was we had approved it that night we was moving on it. And then, like you said, we had some discussion on it, and Mike actually spoke, he was one of the ones that spoke up and said, folks, these people are bringing in a lot in this community.
I think as long as you've had it for in excess of 10 days, you can.
Yeah,
take action.
but I don't remember the amount. This is a question.
And Kim actually, there was a couple of times on instances that we went ahead and got on dates.
We need to be very careful about that.
Yeah. Probably what we would do is go back and see if we can find that, see what it was.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then,
Yes, sir.
and then go from there.
Mike, you think we approved the amount?
Yeah, we approved the amount, but I don't remember what it was.
This will be, this
I don't know if I
will
was
be
at that meeting or not.
Yeah, I don't think David was there either.
Could you not, Scott, could you not approve it at this meeting, subject to meeting the 10-day
Yeah.
requirement as has been set forth, and then, because they're not gonna meet again to another month, so why you wanna keep dragging this animal down the road if it's something they wanna do?
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of it getting their I's dotted and T's crossed.
and I like
If
to,
we've had the application,
Yeah.
we've got a rule that says any application must be received 10 days before it's voted on. Now, from what I understand, that application has been there for more than 10 days. It's been there a lot longer than
the
that.
day before,
But if there was some sort of agreement or something. that
We
they-
just need to find the agreement, whatever it is, in my opinion, just go ahead and send it to him, if he needs more, to come back.
I think the
They have the
day,
discretion to do so if they desire to do so, but if they feel like they need more time, they have that discretion as well.
Are you good with that?
But, yeah, I think everybody is in agreement with not to review this.
But we just need to see what it was in the prior,
Absolutely.
so.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, I really appreciate y'all, and I really look forward to working with you guys, and I love Stanton, and I can't wait to come back. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Let me make a motion.
Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
I make a motion that we accept the grant proposals.
Okay.
Subject to us finding the original agreement, make sure that those numbers match up.
I second that motion.
All approved? Any opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you all.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
No, I've enjoyed my time here today, and I've enjoyed meeting you guys.
well, I feel like this is gonna be a huge impact for our city, you know, I mean, anybody sitting here tonight has saw firsthand, this is gonna bring in a lot of people. I know Darrell is a car person, he could probably tell you right off, that's gonna bring people into this community.
$11,000 to me, to bring an event into this community is a drop in the bucket. I mean, really, if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, you know, you're talking about 25 fill-ups, 3 or 4 hotel rooms, if you just get that.
All
You've paid for itself, you know, if you get, you know, it just doesn't seem like it's a lot of
Cabins.
investment. Yeah,
Cabins,
Cabins,
it seems like kind of a no-brainer, doesn't it?
And on top of that, I think, like I said, there's 2 separate grant requests here. One of them's $6,000, which is what I assume to be an annual yearly
Yeah.
partnership.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not just gonna be.
this ain't a one-time thing, they're coming back.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
$5,000, I'm assuming, if I'm hearing this right, is for the event.
Yeah.
The $6,000 is gonna be promoting Stanton annually, so you're gonna be promoting
For
this
the entire
event
year.
for 12 months. I mean, goodness gracious, that's pretty cheap advertising.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely anything I can to help anybody in this room, and I'll give you all my business card, and I'm just an email, phone call away, and I can do absolutely anything I can to help. I'll do yours.
Thank you, and we appreciate
Oh,
it.
you're welcome. And just from firsthand, I've always been obsessed with rally racing and motorsports and stuff because my dad was a car guy. And I never imagined in a million years that I would get to see a drift event or a rally event in the Appalachian Mountains. And it has been insane. And the turnout it's awesome.
How many in this room would actually go? I'd like to go just to see it, just to see it. I actually would like to go see it.
Once you go see it.
We want to drive the car.
I do too.
I want to drive. I don't want to ride, I want to drive.
One question, does the members maybe get to take a ride in Stanton?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta look at my back yet.
We got that on video, you know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Andy will make sure.
George, just the brief time that they were here last year, look at the people that came out. You know, they were all over the courthouse. They were up at the drive-in. You know, there was a big turnout, and it was unannounced. Just think what we do is whenever it's publicized, and you know, you're gonna get people from everywhere, from all over the state. And I was showing some pictures back here, wherever they have these rallies and stuff. You know, it's just not the big fancy cars they have. You know, one of them was a little box car, like a little cube car that they have. You know, it ranges from junk to $400,000 or $500,000 cars.
Yeah.
And and also on that time frame, it'd be somewhere between February and May of last year that they agreed with that, because I was looking at the pictures and these were May 6th that I took, so it'd been before that. So might make it a little bit easier.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay,
And
so.
whoever made this candy, thank you so much. Thank you.
We've already got them, so we're gonna pay.
Don't forget to leave some cards.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got them right here in my bag. I was just getting this stuff out of y'all's way.
All right, so next up on our agenda is my update, I guess. So I made a few notes of some of the things that we've been doing since our last meeting that we had on when was that, the 22nd? So I'm sure a lot of you all saw that we did Valentine's Day decor throughout the city. We thought it was important to get something out for the holiday, something fun. We put the Valentine's Day arch out at the Boutique Homes. We encouraged folks to go out and take pictures, post it on social media. So
I took a picture of that earlier.
You did? Yeah. So that's been very fun. Joey and I worked on that along with Daniel with Parks and Rec, and then also with Neil, Powell County Detention Center. So that was kind of a great little group effort to get stuff out in the city for the holiday. Joey and I also have been attending meetings. We've been on our tour of all the local groups, all the meetings. We've done Lions Club, Parks and Rec. We went to the fiscal court. Just really introducing ourselves and letting everybody know that we want to work together and do as much as we can together for the community. The one thing that Joey touched on was definitely the baseball tournaments that we talked about with Parks and Rec. And it was kind of nice too, because we went to the Lions Club and they kind of shared their need for wanting to use the club more often or the park more often. And then we ended up going to Parks and Rec the next day. I think it was the next day or a couple days later. And so they were kind of like, we really need a couple more fields. And so we kind of bridged that gap between the two groups. So hopefully we've got that moving forward, or at least got the conversation started on that. We did Valentine's Day cards to the nursing home. We thought that was really important to include those folks at the nursing home for Valentine's Day. That's what it's all about. Share the love. So we have that. Our social media, I was actually looking through it the other day. Our engagement's up, our followers, since last month, we have 104 new followers on the Facebook page. So every time that I log on or get a notification, it's a new follow. So I think that's been great. Our Valentine's Day post, which was just a picture of all of us out there together that day on Valentine's Day. I think it had like a reach of almost like 6,000. So I guess with social media, it doesn't, it's more of the organic, out taking photos of things they're actually out doing. That's really kind of got people talking. We went to the fiscal court meeting and we received approval to utilize the property across from the depot. We thought that was important to utilize for food trucks, inflatables, if we wanted something, fun for the kids to do or something like that. So that was important for us to go there and do that. So we did get that approval. David had signed, the contract for the additional, $200,000 for that grant for the wayfinding and signage project. Joey has actually been working on, getting some information for a local Stanton brochure, that we can have for our local businesses. So we've got that to talk about a little later. Joey and Sarah have been touring, you all toured the drive-in, also the firehouse. So they've been going around, and I don't know, like if you all maybe want to talk about some of the things that you found in that, some of the necessary repairs and stuff that we need to get done before our upcoming events, the Derby event definitely at the drive-in, and then how we can utilize that firehouse.
If you notice, I got my reading glasses and I have to put them on up close, so it's not I have to wear them all the time and I'm not looking. But I want to start off, first of all, thanking each and every one that's in this room. I think when Sasha brought up about the help, she was on point. But there was a few other people also. The squad, I actually want to thank them for coming out and helping. That would be Sasha's family. They came out, actually Rick made several trips that day, made sure we had the proper equipment needed to be done to utilize, because we had to have the drills, we had to have this. And Charlie actually came out. We lifted those hearts up. My plan was going to be on the ground, and that wouldn't have been good because the wind would have took them down, even with the braces. So Pam actually had the idea that the post, and what we done was we put the post in and actually drove them with sledgehammers, and
we got it done.
And got it done. So we got it done and made it look nice. But I just didn't want to leave anyone out. Charlie actually was tremendous to help that day, and send him our best wishes that we appreciate what he done. And I want to thank our chair lady as well. She just come on, got sworn in January. Our first meeting was January the 23rd. She's been great to work with. She's actually been out and about, going and talking with different people throughout the community. As far as the meetings, she's worked good, reaching out to our committee, our group, Mike, David, Sarah, me. This is our committee right here. So want to thank you for all the work you put in. I know today, the days leading up, she's had a lot of information that she's gathered. Everything that you see has been brought before our chair lady, and this stuff has been laid before her. And tonight, she has brought a great presentation before, I feel like, the community, I feel like the city, and our entire county. And I think for the next 3 years that we're going to do some good things. And over this year, working together, I feel like we can accomplish so much. And it's like, on the baseball she brought up, Darrell sits on the KHSAA, and I know he's said he would reach out to the Umpires Association about making sure that those umpires, that we could get some to that junior league to make sure they have umpires for these tournaments that they need to have, because you have to have more umpires. So that was a big help too, and we thank you for that. But there are just so many here. We want to thank our city council members that's here. Mitchell back there, never want to forget Mitchell. He always videos. He's always willing to come out and do what he does. Brandon with the newspaper. He, like he said, he puts the news in there, and he actually has run some really good stories. I'm glad to see that the county approved that to be the paper for Powell County from this point forward. So we don't want to leave anybody out. Joey, thank you with the city, what you and Teresa does, and others. And again, Mike, David, Sarah, Sasha, look forward to working with you all. And Mike, I owe you lunch, so I brought candy, but that wasn't good enough. So, but anyway, Scott wanted extra large hoodie. Got his extra large hoodie.
I appreciate that.
But I do want to say something.
Joe, you may have to turn it just a large. I don't want to.
I'm already
to shrink me down.
I'm already getting the way back there to cut. But what I do want to say that when we have our events, we do have it's all volunteers. Our Parks and Rec people actually will come out there. They'll work the concession. Volunteers will help, and then the parking, whoever it is volunteers based. So when anybody's out there and you see them parking cars, picking up trash after the event at 10 o'clock at night, it is people volunteering. And I feel like with what this gentleman brought tonight, not just the car show, what Stephanie and them brought, and what the band and other organizations, I feel like that we can highlight Stanton even more than what it already is. And it's about promoting all businesses and everyone being involved that wants to be. And I feel like that, with that, I'll turn it over to Sarah.
We went out to the drive-in and apparently, one or both of the restrooms were not winterized. Just one. So I really think we may want to contact Dale Rogers and have him go repair those if we're gonna utilize the drive-in. Otherwise, porta potties.
There's one that's an issue, I think, of that.
There was, plans to redo those bathrooms.
Okay.
At some point in time. I don't know that that's something that we want to consider at some point in time. But when we were talking about the committees, I think that's stuff that needs to be brought together in a bulk. We need to look at it.
Okay.
And get bids.
As far as events go, it's well worth the $300-400 to get the trailer in there with the bathrooms.
Yeah.
Even though we do have the bathrooms up and
Right.
running, it helps out a lot, so.
We had the one for the Derby event.
Yeah.
It was really nice and
Yeah.
stuff. You know, we had to sit up high and it actually was really nice. And then they just come and moved it afterwards.
I think it was about $350, so I mean, it's not nothing crazy.
Well, those bathrooms not redone not too awful long ago.
No.
They were done enough
They were
to get
fixed enough to
working.
use them.
Yeah.
Spencer, didn't Spencer redo those?
No, what they done, they passed health inspection code, but there's some openings in the top, that air is coming in, not enclosed and things, and I can tell you, you can winterize them probably all you want, or David, and it's not, they're gonna freeze up with the way it's opening in the back of the restrooms.
So they got them fixed enough where they were usable for.
Yes, through the warm weather.
And then we also went and looked at the firehouse, and we wanted to see about going ahead and possibly taking bids to see how much money we would need to get that in a condition that it could be utilized. Because as of right now, it's just set.
We own the
It's a storage building right now, and we own that.
We need to figure out what we wanna do with it.
Yeah.
And then that way we know we can get bids on.
Committee again.
Yeah, we've actually, what we've done, we've thought about the idea of just, me and Sarah's done, she liked the theme of leaving it called maybe just the firehouse and having some music, food trucks, and having a fun center for kids, have the rock climbing walls, have the bouncy, not the bouncy, but like the,
Gotta keep it tourism based.
yes. And
You know, since we own it, there's a good chance we could get some sort of.
We could get some grant money, yes,
Rehab.
that's,
That's
yeah,
what
we
we
need
were
to
thinking.
get together, we can talk about this all night, but we need to
Right.
get committee together and figure out, present what we wanna do.
we took some pictures of the building, of the inside. Me and Sarah, we went out there and spent about 45 minutes and took pictures. And what we had thought about, like you said, is reaching out and getting bids and seeing what it's going to cost from these people that give bids to see what we're looking at as far as funding that we're going to be, running the newspaper, let these people go in and look, and they're going to see some of the things that we've done.
You know, one thing you might want, something you guys might want to consider, you have a lot of projects going on, a lot of different things.
Right.
You might want to think about maybe breaking into subcommittees and report back to the overall board, because there's just a lot that we have.
That's coming up on the
That's coming
agenda,
up on
correct?
the-
The committee thing, let's wait until that.
All right, so we'll move on to our old business.
For all the properties.
You ready to move on to the old business? Okay. We just got our approval for payment of our open invoices. It looks like there was a balance left over from the audit. Then we also have our bill for the Whitaker Bank credit card. And then we have the invoice on the advertising with the Coyote that we need to vote on.
I don't know if the $3,500 for the audit get paid, because we approved.
It's just a small amount. I forgot to write it down, but I think it was like 1,400 was maybe what was left over.
Yeah, that's what it says, 1,400.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did pay the 30, I know we
Yes.
approved it, okay.
Yes.
So it's just 1,400.
Yes, Teresa said it was just that balance that was left. Yeah, 140173 is what was left over for that one.
Do we want to do these separately?
I think we should do them all, can we not do them all?
Does anyone have an objection to grouping the bills together?
I don't, do we, the, Cody that was on the advertising, is that something that we wanted to continue with on that?
The contract's up.
Yeah, the contract was already up. I think this one is a new one.
I think we would just table it probably until we can have further discussion on it.
Do you know when we need to let them know something about?
Are you talking about
That was the Coyote.
is that the one we let them know yesterday?
That was Kentucky Living.
Okay.
This one was the other one.
The ads on the radio,
Mhm.
I think that's been suspended.
Suspended, okay.
Okay.
But they didn't even actually offer that, so I think that they.
We were building advance, so there's
Yep.
nothing doing old, that we would owe
That's
for
good.
that, unless this is an old bill or something
No.
that would have been incurred. If it's for anything from today forward, that has been
So
suspended.
we can just go ahead and.
Yeah, it
Okay.
says March 31st through June the 30th.
So that would be a bill that we would need to pay.
We wouldn't even have to pay that.
Do we want to vote on we just got the audit and then, the credit card bill?
We just have two of them?
Yeah.
Okay. We can vote on them separately.
Let's make a motion to pay those two,
The minutes will probably need to reflect
what they are, yes.
the two bills, we got two bills.
1,400 to summer various parts, and the credit card bill. We have to approve the credit card bill.
Probably a good idea. I would. Just
Yeah,
make sure-
and I put the paperwork in there for what that charge of $3,000 was for. The two PayPal charges is what was on the credit card. Those are also in your notes.
Did you make a motion, Mike?
Yes.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposing? Motion passed. All right, so we'll move on to our new business on the agenda. Our first listing on that was the SPGE compliance. I think there was some things that were not. Do you want to explain what that is for everybody?
Anytime you're what's called a special purpose governmental entity, you have to be registered with the state, you have to pay an administrative fee. It depends on how much money that you take in over the course of the year. I don't think we've had a lot of turnover. And the last time this was done, I remember was we were all caught up spring of last year, I think was when now since that time there's been one or two reports that we should have filed but have not filed. So we probably need to go ahead and do that. Like I said, I did it last time because we had to apply for that grant, and so we didn't have time to do it. In the past, the directors have sometimes done it. The city clerk may have done it, but we probably need to get that done. It's something we need to be attentive to. It's not real problematic as long as we pay the I think it's a couple $100 that we have to do to register. We have to have a list of who our current members are and some other stuff that we have to put into the system. We can do that if y'all, what we do we get a password on that? Or do we know what the password?
We just need to get done, because I told the state that we were in compliance.
The easiest thing to do is just tell the city attorney to pay it.
We need to be in compliance as soon as possible.
Like I said, I did the last time. If y'all want me to do it, just have me do it and I can get all the information.
That, trust me, that needs to be done. We just got $1.7 million held up in the High School Athletic Association because we hadn't properly filed.
And that's what happened, and I spent, I was at the office till midnight because we didn't have any idea that had not been updated. So I was at the office till midnight, and about 11 o'clock the next morning, still working on getting several years done, and we got it accomplished because we were under the gun. We didn't have time to move slowly on it.
Well, I'll make the motion then for Scott to
Okay,
take care of that for us.
I'll take care of it.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed. All right, next up, we have our approval of the subcommittee. We talked about doing a subcommittee just to make it a little easier with our events that are coming up and all of those things, so. Anybody want it?
We need a few different.
We need several different subcommittees. We don't need individuals or groups. I mean, I don't mind to work on the firehouse.
You probably need one on the fire.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you want me and Mike just to fire. I mean, any kind of.
If I need help, I'll call.
Yeah.
But I think I can handle it.
But what we would do eventually, we would, like you said, we just put
Well,
up
then we,
the,
right, that's the first thing, so if you want to write that plan, off at the firehouse, and then what next, do we need to have to do?
we talked about doing a subcommittee, and I feel like that Sasha, myself, and Sarah, as far as the events would be good, as far like we've done in the past, making sure like what we're having at the drive-in, any kind of festivals, what needs to be done, and also, bringing volunteers that would want to be willing to help and needed to work with our subcommittee. I know there's some entities that have reached out and would be willing to volunteer and help with us on that, because we have several events that are coming up planned that we're going to be doing, and we would have to, we can only have 3, you can't have 4 because that's considered a quorum, so 3 people, yep, so 3 people. Actually, what we would do is we would sit down and brainstorm, we would come back to the committee and say, hey, this is what we've got, this is what we're planning, is everybody on board? Are you on?
Maybe we can do an events committee.
An events
The
committee.
firehouse committee.
We've got 2 more members that'll be eventually coming on, so let's
So
not
is you-
distract ourselves out on it.
So are you okay with us 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is a 7-member board, but we just got 5
Right,
members.
so let's go.
And I will tell you guys, a lot of people have reached out to me about events and stuff like that are more than willing to put events on for us, do stuff with us.
Oh,
People that we worked with in the past that put on these events sometimes.
Yeah, it can be quite a burden, so, I mean, that's fine, just remember that
Yeah,
we
just-
want people to come in and bring their own events that will promote tourism into us.
just
That's
after,
what we're doing.
just after last year, going so many months without anything, we're having numerous people reach out right now saying, when is your next event? And we're looking at the drive-in, going ahead and get something going, our Derby Days event, other things, so we've actually, that's why we have to do this subcommittee quick.
That's probably a subcommittee you guys need as well, if you're going to
Yeah,
do everything.
that's why we were talking events committee.
Why don't you give, and again, I don't mean to talk out of place, and tell me if I am, why don't you let the chair develop the 4 or 5 or 6 committees she wants, that she needs to report to the board,
I agree.
and say, okay, and then say, these are our 6 committees, which one you want to serve on? Because she may think you need 5 committees, you may think you need 4, but then you all can let the chair organize her own committees, because she's ultimately responsible for getting it done as the chair. Let her organize her committees, and then reach out to you all individually and say, okay, Joy, do you want to serve on the events? Hey, Mike, you want to serve on the building and maintenance committees? That would also incorporate, the drive-in or whatever the case. You just kind of need a generic
I think
way.
there's an urgency to go ahead and get some committees formed right now, but that's a good idea.
I'll make a motion to approve that the chair forms the committees and actually will notify the individuals, and if they're willing to sit on that committee, and then we go from there. But I'll make a motion if anyone will second it, please.
I'll second that.
You just need to do it quickly though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, the only means we gotta wait for another meeting, unless you want to contact.
No, she
everybody.
can, she can.
That's what I'm saying,
appoint-
contact,
yeah,
that's what I'm
she
saying,
can
contact
appoint
everybody.
committees
So-
before
Just do
dark.
it through message, through group text.
Okay, gotcha.
So I made a
We got a
motion.
response
Yeah,
on the
we,
group text.
yeah, gotcha. You second it.
Yeah.
All in
All in
favor?
favor? All in favor?
I think it's even the bylaws.
That, yeah, she has the right to.
No, this thing says they can do subcommittees.
Okay.
Did you bring the bylaws?
Of course I did.
Oh, okay, never mind. I missed it. Sorry.
And it is
There you go.
and it is in our bylaws that we can
Yeah.
have numerous committees.
Article 11.
Yep.
The commission may create committees and appoint individuals to serve on
Yes.
those committees for purposes approved by the majority of the commission.
Yes, so it's there.
Yes. So we have these very important bylaws and we update them periodically.
We'd actually discussed it a few weeks ago about.
Did David have shots?
I did email,
No, I remember us talking about it.
I'm just kidding.
I missed it on the agenda.
There was a spelling error.
Did you bring an extra copy?
And I want to thank our chair lady
I
for
didn't
taking
believe
that
it was
on.
on, so yes, I did.
Next up, we have our discussion about the trifold brochures for the city of Stanton. Joey had reached out to one of the printing companies, what was it, Print
I'll pass this
USA?
down. Yeah, this is just something generic that they put together. And, actually, it's in Moorhead, it's Print USA in Moorhead. They actually, they ship all over the United States, throughout other countries. And So here's some of the samples we'll pass around.
So we had talked about the option of a brochure for the city of Stanton to include some of the local businesses. That way we have something that's more specific to us here in Stanton. So that way we've got everybody together. We've got all the businesses, all the restaurants, hotel, all that. So Joey put in the phone call to them, and so they wanted to just kind of get together like a sample version for us to look at for the meeting. But we can set it up any way that we want it. If we want photos, it can be photos. If we want as much text with the businesses and that kind of stuff in there, so we can kind of build it around. If you can pass it around, Scott.
That's very well done.
We can build, and I mean that's something I think they turned it around in just a couple of days.
About 4 days.
So I mean it would be a great opportunity for the local businesses and things like that. So they have trifolds. There's I don't know what the other one was, a fold out. So there's different versions based on what our need would be. But then they also sent the pricing for the trifold, so we can get as little as we want or as many as we want, and it seems to be pretty affordable for the pricing on that. But he said they can do anything up to even like a QR code on there for the brochure, so that QR code can take them directly to like our tourism website if we wanted it to, or they could link it up really to anything. So I think it's something that we need to think about. I think it'd be great for the businesses here in town. So that's been one of the things that we've had.
And speaking with, actually, this is something we discussed before COVID. Before COVID hit, and our board was actually in the process of taking action on it. We had a young lady that our former chair had asked to take on this task. Then when COVID hit, all the businesses shut down for the 1.5 to 2 years, and it just put a hold on everything. So I started Googling, I saw Print USA, I called, I talked to a young lady. She sent me to the general manager and to the guy that's over design and printing. He said, what do you need? I said, we need a packet as soon as possible. We have a meeting on February the 20th. I said, our public has spoke up on it, our business leaders. Numerous people has asked about a local brochure. And I said, is there any way you can help it? They said, absolutely. You hear a lot of people that'll say that word, and then the meeting comes and you have nothing to hand out. So they called, emailed several times, back and forth, we talked. Sasha spoke with them as well, and I actually called the lady a few days ago, and she said she'd come down with laryngitis, that she wasn't feeling well, but she said, we're not going to give up on this. We're going to get this package shipped to you all. This would include every business in Stanton, whether it's restaurants, we would have a shop section, you would have an event section, that's going to be your yearly events that you're having. It would include your car washes, whatever it would detail as far as exclusive stand, your city park, your Burt T. Combs, the Rock up there, your Veterans Park, the depot, anything we can put in there. So the pricing is very affordable compared to what other entities are, and they said they could put all that information in this brochure and have that. It would have the address, the phone number, and where these businesses are located, whether it's north, east, south, west. People would know these could be handed out at Natural Bridge, the State Fair. They could be took to different places, to different festivals, and all the local businesses would have them also. I would even volunteer some of my time to hand them out myself. I would have no problem with that, hand them out, and I know that others would as well. So I just feel like that we put this on the back burner for a while, and like I said, before COVID, we was already ready to move on it. We asked a young lady to go with it, and everything got shut down. So what I would ask tonight is that the board, as we agreed with the young man that's sitting here on the front row, that we would just go ahead and make a motion and second and approve to go with these brochures. We would then have to decide exactly the imagery we want in there. They said they would send back everything to our chair lady upon approval of the imagery and everything, and then once it's sent to them, and the turnaround is very quickly. They said this is not nothing that would take months, that they can actually get this very quickly to us to where we can get these out and moving.
Do we know the cost yet?
Right here's a,
We can get 5,000 for less than $500.
yeah, 5,000 for less than $500.
Yeah, this was discussed a while back.
And I've actually, like you said, had discussions with the ladies and been passionate about it, because like you said, when you go in a business and actually, I just went in Crab Trees Candy today, and I'll give you an instance. And that's what I told Brenda, I said, Brenda, we've got something on here for local brochures tonight. And she said, I hope it passes.
Well, and too, in speaking with him today, he said the only thing like an increase in the pricing would be if we had more graphics than, you know, kind of what is on here already, but, you know, I mean, it's.
So how much are we,
We can take some of those out and we can actually add some different
Because
ones.
I asked, because I said if we list the businesses in there, we're putting more text than we are graphics.
Yeah.
So he said there would be a change in price for more text.
yeah, so, I mean, are we talking about for the whole year?
Yeah, we would need more than 5,000, because I mean, that would go, as you got State Fair coming up and other events, I mean, 5,000 would go, you would get that many out in your local businesses.
I give away 25 or 30 of Callie's campgrounds on a monthly basis to people that come in the dealership, getting their car, getting an oil change from up in the gorge, it was here for the week or something. We give away 25 or 30 for just, Callie brings me 25 or 30 every week, and just put them back up and people just grab them. I mean, even local people are taking them, so they've got a phone number to call her for pizza. You might think about putting your businesses on a QR code rather than putting them on your brochure. But your brochure probably needs to be more about what you're seeing in the community, and maybe take that QR code and put your business listings with a QR code that they can scan it and look up a bit.
Am I able to speak on that?
Sure.
So, Daryl, I agree with what you're saying, but from working at the Welcome Center for 5 years, people that come here, your service is spotty in certain places, and they want that paper material that they can go when they're off grid, and they can sit there and pick out what they're going to do the next day. So a lot of them will tell us that they don't use the QR codes when they come here because they're, you know, they don't have Wi-Fi or whatever. So I would recommend that you put your businesses in there. If you did have QR codes, like I was telling Chad, like you could have our QR code for the park activities that are happening at Parks and Rec. You guys could have one that's for your events, have your main events listed, but then if there's things that popped up in between when you printed that, you also have one that says check out more events in the area here. You could collaborate with the parks calendar on that, I'm sure. Which Chad Birch sets up for that. But I just wanted to speak to Print USA. They used to be Good Shepherd's Printing, and then during COVID he bought Print USA, Stamp USA, and Yard Signs USA, and he bought all of those. So he would be able to do your yard signs for like if you all had events, and was able to pump all that out for you too. And the more that you buy with him, the better he is to you. Actually, the Forest Service switched over to using them as well. The state parks use them now out of Moorhead. I mean, they're really great people, and they will meet you in Mount Sterling to pick them up.
I just Googled them and called them, and they were exceptional. And they actually, I reached out to her chair immediately, and I said, you know, what do you think? And she said, let's get to work on it and just see what they say. And I'm talking in 4 or 5 days, they had this stuff shipped out right here, just a generic thing. And the imagery, like you said, this is not nothing that's permanent. But we did put parts and recs. We went on there together. We just got some pictures that we had done events in the depot, just things, and just started adding pictures in. I know Carol's been one coming for over 4.5 years, and she has asked numerous times about a local brochure. And
could you not add a QR code on the back of it as well?
That makes sense. I never thought about that. The last step service, that makes a lot of sense.
I'll make a motion for up to $2,000.
We need to have somebody design it, put it together, and all approve it.
So I think that's another subcommittee
Yep.
needs, is to get who, that way to figure out what needs to be designed, brochure, work with them to design it.
Get it designed, get it brought to the board, then let's look at it and we'll go from there.
But I think up to $2,000, that would give us 20,000 brochures, which should do us for a while.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you all. Thank you for everybody that spoke up on it as well. I mean, because you said it's appreciative and it's something that's needed done.
All right, so next we have our discussion and possible action of upcoming events. Anybody have any events that they wanted to? I did reach out to the Fun Flicks about the Derby screen. so that we could go ahead and get that scheduled, if that's what we want to move forward with. So they sent a quote, which is in everybody's packets, for the LED screen, and it's like the full package. So what I gathered from him, it would be the same that he did last year. They came out, and I think did.
Tents and tables and everything?
No.
Those are tents.
Yeah, we got tents, remember, we bought those and tables and chairs and we.
This one is for the, I guess, just the LED screen.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just the screen, so.
Can I make a suggestion? Joey here knows quite a bit about all that, because you were involved in that, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Just
I got
get-
sunburn all over that thing. And I went on.
I'll buy you some sunscreen. Just get it put together, Sasha, how you wanna do it, what you wanna do.
And I
get your
will tell
budget
you-
worked on, and let's go from there.
You don't have to be specific right now,
No.
but we need to go ahead and get it on social media, advertise it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was the problem last, it was came together.
Yeah, last minute,
And it
yeah.
was, it was a really good event, but
Yeah.
there wasn't.
We didn't have enough advertising for it, didn't have enough time to get it out, so, however you wanna handle that.
Like I said, the event's pretty good when the people are there and they're calling other people to come out.
Yeah.
We just needed, 2 or 3 months of,
So now's the time to get all that going.
Yeah.
I think that's the simplest thing.
and like I said, we don't really have to have it all planned out, but
Yeah.
if we know we're gonna have it, go ahead and start shooting that out.
But I'm going to volunteer, like you said, my time. I'll be starting third shift here in a few weeks, but I'll be working as much as possible with her on all the events. I've always enjoyed getting out there doing it, and I know a few others have, and so,
And if you all have any input too as to what
We need-
you all have, like what was involved with it, I'm open to that too, because I
If
wasn't,
we're gonna have drinks or anything, we'll have to get with Pete.
and get the license and
Yeah,
special permit, I guess. We're gonna have to do that.
insurance,
We do that if we would.
just
Get with David and Joey.
Kim has volunteered.
we talked.
She said whatever she did, even when she was working with us, she said we could.
The quicker you get all that together, if you need to, call them, especially.
We've actually spoke with Kim, Sarah spoke with Kim, Sasha, we spoke with Kim. She's actually given us the contact numbers to the guy with the stage. Of course, Sasha's got the information on the screen. We've got the tables and chairs. So we've actually reached out to numerous entities before this meeting. We've been reaching out to people prior that helped with this event. So
Joe, you brought something up just now, catastrophic insurance. We insure 284 member schools and over 85,000 student athletes. We've got one company that does catastrophic insurance for the entire year for every one of those kids. If they twist an ankle at a sporting event, what you might want to look at as a board is find you a company that would sell you a generic blanket catastrophic insurance policy for your entire year. So you didn't have to worry about from event to event, whether you had catastrophic insurance. You know that this board, as well as this members, as well as the 7 members are protected. Because I'm assuring you, if somebody gets hurt, they're not just suing Stanton Tourism, they're suing Sasha Bovey and Joy Casey, right on down the line. So you might want to think about a catastrophic insurance policy that covers the Tourism Commission as a whole for any event you have. And there may be some requirements, you can't do this, you can't do that, but, looking at a catastrophe, and you may be able to get with this gentleman here, and he may have some catastrophic insurance suggestions for you with the events that he hosts.
And then the other event that I had on my list was what we had talked about with the ice rink at the previous meeting. I know, Mike, you weren't here for that one. So I don't know if anybody had any thoughts on that. We talked about maybe doing like a whole Winterfest thing in conjunction with Kiwanis when they have the lights out and that kind of thing. But if we want to go with the ring, they do have the early bird discount, and that ends, I think it's the 20th of March on that. If you were to buy it outright, there is that discount.
That was what, around 60,000?
If we bought it outright, with the early bird discount, it was $44,615 plus freight.
this is set up it would actually be set up on a permanent foundation at the city park. Parks and Rec, actually, Tommy Mays, I spoke with Tommy, he said they would help with the manpower as far as taking down and setting up.
It was set up on that big concrete slab.
Might I
It'll-
ask a
it'll fit
question?
on that.
Is, okay, getting a rink, good idea, but we don't know exactly how well that's gonna go over. What's the rental of one, not with this group, but with any other group, to give it a try and see how it's gonna
Well,
work?
this one does have a rent to buy option
Okay.
with this one. So if you
Well, I
rent
mean,
it,
have somebody else bring it in, set it up, see how it does versus rent to buy or any of that sort of
So
stuff.
they do bring it,
You understand what I'm saying? In other words, you rent it from a group that has the rink, have them bring it in, set it up. What's that cost versus buying the whole rink?
well, that's what they have a rent to buy option
Okay.
on here. So they have the rental option to buy if you want to try it as a
Okay,
rental.
right.
And then they have
And
the,
how much is that, just out of
it's
curiosity?
it's 31,000 for set. We're looking at like a 60 by 40 rink.
So they want to basically get you to buy one.
It's,
Well,
yeah.
and so that's my point. I mean, is there anywhere that you can rent one for less than that amount of money and see
No.
how well it's gonna do?
Mike, what we're saying.
It's about, I've called some other places just to get
It's
some.
about the same.
And it's about the same across the board.
Okay.
So this one has, you have the rent to buy option, you have the only way that you can get the early bird discount is if you buy it outright.
Is it collapsible, storable?
It
whatever?
comes in puzzle pieces,
Does it? Okay.
so it goes on crates, it stacks, and it
Okay.
goes on crates, so,
You know when it would be delivered, ballpark?
when it would be delivered. They usually suggest to do it, the very end of November.
Okay, so later in the year.
Yeah, so it's later on in the year, so if we do look at buying it outright with the discount, the total, I did check the freight, because you had asked about freight last time, the freight was $2,695.
So nothing crazy.
No, so the grand total, if we bought it outright with the discount, is a little over 47,000. So if you do opt to go that way, you have to put down a 25% deposit on it, and then you would pay.
And we have storage for it to put all this stuff?
The building out back here.
Okay.
It'll actually fit in the building.
We'd also discussed maybe splitting it with Parks and Rec, since it would be set up at Parks and.
Well, I talked with Tony about that, and he said for this year, they would, as far as manpower, they would make sure, help them with that, with their budget and everything, so,
I think you're talking about cost.
yeah, but on the ice
Purchase
skating
cost.
rink, what they do in Pikeville, they partner with, the Shriners, and they call it Winterfest. And they do it from November the 30th to December the 31st. Moorhead actually sets it up for 2 months. Jackson just had it up in their town square in Jackson. Lexington does it. Wolfe County had it a few years ago. Somerset does it. There's numerous counties, and it does bring people in. It comes with 80 sets of skates, and it's got a fence that goes around it.
They also charge.
It's got in Pikeville, there's a picture of it.
Joey, I'm good. You don't have to preach to me about it. That's fine.
Well, I just want to reach out.
No, you're fine. I understand.
We're just showing the photo.
No, I can see that. I understand. I know what portable ice skate rinks are. So, I mean, I'm just.
Well, I mean, we sent out, we texted, and you hadn't responded, so I was just wondering, we hadn't heard anything from you.
Joey, easy, buddy.
So I'm saying you didn't respond.
Let's,
One thing I did talk to, the company actually sent me references of
Sure.
different, entities that had used it, so I've talked to a couple of them. The one gentleman I talked to, was out of Oak Grove, Oklahoma, and so he said their city had around like 5,000 people in there, but he said it was great, for the city. It brought in people, from all over. He kind of went over what he liked about it, if he had any issues with it, that kind of thing, but it'd be something great, I think, for the people of our community. And then I think it would be great, to bring in tourism too. And then if we set it up like as a Winterfest, we could have different vendors out there, some of our local businesses. There's advertising options on the rink, so we can, try to get some advertising from some of the local businesses if they'd like to participate. So I think there's a lot of opportunity with it, but it's one of those things, like if we want to utilize the early bird special, that we've got to do that where we only meet once a month.
You can also bring in your different organizations, that will come in on buses. You can bring your schools, you can utilize your schools to bring in the kids, to let them come in and enjoy that. Your church organizations, like you said, the Kiwanis, the Shriners has an organization in Montgomery County that I spoke with a few of their members over in Mount Sterling. So there's different entities that we can use that would want to use this. It is also handicap accessible, correct? So people can actually get out, it's handicap accessible. I feel like that as a commission, I know Sarah has spoke a little bit about it, and she may have wanted something to say. I know we discussed it.
With the ice skate rink, I think that's a wonderful idea as far as getting people here during our slow time. But I'm hesitant with the price. Without, I feel like we need to take an in-depth look at our, what we got in the bank account and plan out exactly how much it's gonna cost, like, to get the Edison lights or the area we're gonna put it in and have it installed.
For the city park, it would be on that concrete pad out there. And it's actually, Daniel actually measured it, and
Cause I think it would be great. It's just like having a solid plan as to what's gonna happen, when it gets.
We also have to get a plan on who's gonna work it.
Right.
I know Parks and Recs people will, but like I said, there aren't a lot of them working, we have a lot of summer help, but you're talking November, December, it's hard.
there are parts and rec workers actually that work the concession. They could help as well. I know I think it's like $9.
But those are summer jobs, that's what he's saying too. They're employed for the summer. So, the kids that are there, it'll be for the winter.
I'll volunteer my time to help with it. Scott will, and the mayor also said he would help.
It's a great project. I think it's something that we do need to go forward with. The only thing I could think of, it would be nice if we could somehow convince, well, not so much, but if we could somehow convince Parks and Recs to contribute some to it, even if it's not a half. That's the only thing about it.
Chad, you're on Parks and Rec. Give us a little insight.
Our meeting is first Wednesday of the month.
I think it's a good idea. I think just a little bit more digging into it.
Yeah,
And
I just getting a
putting
solid
something together.
plan, like
Right.
how many employees we'll need or.
Because it would be really nice to have it for
I
a
have
good
no-
stretch of time,
Right.
Every day,
Yeah.
not just.
Well, and most of the people that are working, most of the people that I talked to said it really runs from like Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah.
And then they would have the groups or the churches come in on the off days that they're not running it. But most of the folks that I've talked to said it typically takes like 2 to 3 people. You have to have somebody to work, to get the skates and keep it clean. But it doesn't have a huge maintenance. It doesn't have a lot of upkeep on it. The one gentleman I talked to today said that it would easily, if we just used it for the winter season, we could get 10 to 15 years out of it. And they started with the 60 by 40, and they had such a great response that he said they added another 16 feet this year to the existing rink. So it's something.
It's not actually ice.
It's synthetic ice.
No, it's synthetic ice.
And actually, the general manager of the Appalachian Wireless Center in Pikeville, and the guy that's works with events planning and tourism in Pikeville, he said that they actually have busloads of people that come in out of Virginia, West Virginia, and other places that come there to utilize that ice skating rink.
If we want something that's more in depth, I can put something together that's got more detail in it, and then we can do a special meeting before.
Yeah,
And then that way we can decide if we want to buy or rent to buy, if we want to get that discount.
I don't think anybody's worried about the rink or
Being successful, no, I don't think that's.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out once we get it
How to go
here,
about it.
how to get it in place, how to get it ringing, how to get it.
How we want to run right.
What I would suggest, of course, every job look at that stuff, but I would schedule a special meeting after Parks and Recs have their
Right.
meeting and just check with them,
They
see
need
if
to-
something
right.
that they would feel comfortable putting in on, and if they do, that's good. If not,
Wait out
we
and see.
still have.
How long do we have to get to the discount?
I have to go back and look, but I think it's the 20th of March.
20th of March. That's next month. We got it.
So.
Request
And I think that they would
I'm
be
sure they
willing
probably
to-
would work with you.
Yeah, if we needed a little extra time.
I would
Knowing
ask.
if we were interested, they would
Right.
probably give us a
Yeah.
little extra time.
But
But
like
it's
I
one of
said,
those things that,
We
we
should be able to
need
get it done by March.
Maybe
I'll tell
you
you
could
I would think
request
we would
for
know by
Tommy and some of the guys from Parks and Rec to come to the special meeting
Yeah.
and see what those game plan
And that way,
is.
like I said, not even Parks and Rec adding money or putting money in, figuring out a way to get it staffed and ran and.
Well, actually, I just spoke to Tommy back last week, and that's what he said. He said this year we can actually, manpower wise, and I'm sure Neil actually said that they could come out, but Tommy said Parks and Rec would actually help with some of the manpower, help taking it down, getting it stored. So he said that would be what they would be willing to do for this year. Is when I talked to Tommy last week. And he said, that he actually rented you out a few years ago to rent it, and he said it was already booked. So if you wait up to May or June, forget it. You won't
Yeah,
be able
we
to
just
get it.
need to get, if it's something that we're gonna do.
We're talking
we
about
just
buying
need
one,
to-
we don't have to worry about renting. So-
Yeah, like I said, I don't think rent ones.
Well,
We might
I
as
mean,
well.
there's only, I think, what did we talk about, like a $4,000 or $5,000 difference
Right,
between
yeah.
the two, so I.
Pretty much start telling you, if we're gonna bring it out there,
Yeah, you want to
keep
buy
your-
it.
And like,
Well, and it's something too, like if it goes over well, like we could do a Christmas in July or something and get it back out in July and have
We
something.
can
like
oversell it if it don't go over.
Could be time for you to go.
Exactly.
I think it will go over.
They've had two organizations say that they'd be willing to volunteer.
I know, but it'd be better if you said, I
Okay,
know business
so-
will be there for the
I'll put
survey.
something together on that.
Good deal.
And I'll have that, so then that
It
way.
would be
we
much better if you
can-
volunteered to do that right now.
All right, so next up, we have our budget amendments. Anybody would like to talk on that?
maybe you've got anything on the budget amendment you want to
Do we
discuss?
need to amend it now, or do you think we're, do we need to amend it now, or we are?
We need to go.
We don't need that meeting now, but we do need. our
Need to
budget-
work on it.
I've gotta work on some more stuff because, our grant money that we receive and the matching funds that we get from the other tourism or the county, Wolf County, Lee County, and Esco County, the state actually requires that we're the head of that grant project, and the state requires us to actually show that we're getting the grant money and the matching funds from those other people. And I just had to turn around and expense it out because I just put grant expense. We're gonna spend it all, of course, but it's just, I have to show that we're getting $450,000
Let me also this, I think at some point, unless I'm remembering this wrong, I think we did do a motion, it might be considered a budget amendment. Didn't we do a motion to accept the funds and show them as an expenditure?
Yes, we did do that. The first one. We just got, I haven't got the $200,000 check yet.
Do we, okay.
We probably should make a motion for that.
Do you know the exact amount?
You know the amount?
We're receiving $200,000. We have to match funds of 10%, but that bits and pieces come from all 5 organizations. We're meeting next week to discuss the breakdown of the matching funds. We approve up to $10,000. I don't think we're gonna have to pay $10,000. It'll be somewhere in the $5,000-6,000 range. We have a larger budget than a lot of other places, so we do pick up. But like I said, if we're paying a few $1,000s and we're getting $200,000 more, so.
And what's the source of those funds?
It's ARPA COVID money.
Probably just want to do a motion to accept those funds and reflect the disposition of those funds in our budget.
Yeah, it's the second, yeah.
Second grant.
More money came out, there was only about $1 million available, and somehow we got 200,000, so I don't, we weren't expecting nearly that much the second time around, but apparently, I don't know, like I said, I've got pretty close with the tourism commissioner and they're rolling right along with it, so.
I want to go ahead and let us approve tonight as far as decor, like anything for Easter or the holidays that we need to purchase, to go ahead and give the chair authority to put that money in an account to where we don't have to call meetings after meetings and worry about with 4 people getting here, to where she can go ahead and purchase those items that needed to be for decorations.
That's
I think we can.
what, like the last meeting, we said, you know, it was too late for Valentine's Day. And then we kind of made an agreement to buy the Valentine's Day stuff, which everybody loved. But the concerning thing is that we're supposed to be voting on this stuff in public meetings. And so as far as like the last public meeting to this one, they're like, I thought you guys said the Valentine's stuff was a no-go, but we had the time and to do those things. So I didn't know if we, yeah.
Well, we definitely tried to like include it on the messaging, like what were
Yeah.
people's thoughts and whatnot, so.
But I didn't know if there was something like with, as far as the bylaws, like
What we've done in the past
It's just put
is made a motion to approve up to an amount.
Yeah.
For specific purposes, and that way, it might not be that amount, it might not be.
You don't need
Yeah.
Just so we don't have to have special meetings every time we have one.
Exactly, that's,
What amount are we looking at so we can go ahead and do that tonight? that we can go ahead and put that there for decorations in case we do look at something here in the near future.
And the thing of it too, like in the messages and things like that, like I try to ask, like, do you all want to do this? Should we participate in this? Things like that. Like, I mean, if that's something that you all aren't okay with, then you need to like
What
respond
I'm
back
saying
and just let me
that
know.
I don't want any of us held liable.
No, that's
for,
fine. I'm just saying, like, if you all don't, if it's something that we don't agree on as a group, then, you know, we all just need, yeah, we just need to know.
Right.
I'll make a motion tonight on what amount that you're as far as amount that on the decor, because we're looking at Easter and then other holidays coming up, so that we want to put them out in that.
I mean, like I said, we spend.
This is a good topic, y'all, but we're on that budget thing.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we get the motion in the minutes that says that we accept $200,000 from,
Well, yeah.
from who is it? ARPA?
It's a state budget from,
And that we reflect that in our budget, and we also reflect the expenditure of those funds in our budget.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion to accept
I'll
it.
second it.
it's 220,000 total. Once we get the matching funds, and yeah, we do have to expense all that out.
Just in case David needs that.
So she,
And for everybody wants to know, that the reason why I do that, it comes to us, it runs through the city as Stanton Tourism. So it is a regional project, but we're responsible for the money, so.
it's got to be spent on the signage, correct?
Yeah, and we have a contract with those people. The first 250 isn't dispersed yet, but it's already allocated. The second $200,000, I would say 175 of that is just going straight for signs.
And the reason we have to do this, and the city has to do the same thing, is when we originally did our budget, we weren't aware that we were receiving those funds. So it's in addition to our budget and also a subtraction for our budget. Now, on any project like that the city does with water, sewer, anything like that, we always have to do a budget amendment saying we got an extra $220,000 that we didn't put in our budget at the start of the year, but we've got that. And now I want to show, also just want to show it down here is going out, in and out, and whoever comes up. And David probably needs that for the project.
Because
So
when we get audited, it's gonna show, instead of us getting our $400,000 in tax money, we're gonna have an extra $200,000 that we got and we have.
I think I made the motion, Joey seconded, so it's all in favor.
And on the second thing, I know we can okay expenditure of funds up to a certain amount for it. I think y'all already said this, but let's say what we used to do is like, if there was an event coming up or a certain thing, we would okay up to $10,000 for a specific event. Joy, you were here.
That's what I was thinking about too.
Or like if there was something, we'd okay up to $1,000 for this particular thing. And what happens is that those funds are okay up to that amount. And at some point, either the next meeting or a meeting down the road, the exact specific expenditures are brought in and are shown to us, and we kind of doubly approve it, and there's documentation.
Normally, we bring already like Sasha did with the Valentine's, the receipts were brought to Teresa at City Hall, and everything was good.
And you guys, these are things that we've done in the past, and it's kind of a learning curve. And that's one of the things I was actually talking to Mike about this the other day. But it might be something. One of the very few things that Hondo and his bunch did that I thought was a good idea. There were very few, but one of the things was that training that the Kentucky League of Cities came in and kind of went through the basics or stuff like that. It was very good. I thought that might be something.
I reached out to them today.
And anyone who has any questions, you know,
They're willing to come back and do a training again.
I think that would be great.
I would prefer to wait till we get the other two members so we don't do it
Yeah.
again, but who knows how long it's gonna be, but that's another
I'll
story.
make a motion up to $10,000 to approve for expenditures on any events or decor that we have to purchase. And to allow our chair to go ahead and to access that.
do you think that we need to be that high, Joe?
Well, I'm putting that amount, like you said, I don't think we're going to even come close to that, but I think that we could put that amount just to be safe. But I don't think it's going to be at all, because on the Valentine's, it wasn't at all.
I think we probably need to narrow it down a little bit. If we're talking about decorations and stuff, we probably need to make a motion up to an amount for decorations and stuff, and not a bit, because like.
Well, that's what I was talking about, decor, just up to decor. We'll make a motion up to, on our events, up to 10,000, and up on decor, up to 5,000.
I think what he's trying to say is you need to focus specifically on what your plans are for what you need. I mean, if you're planning for Easter, well, how much do you think you're going to need?
And I set up to 5,000.
Right, and then go from there. More of a, such a wide open amount.
So I make a motion up to 5,000 for decor, for
decoration.
for decorations.
I'll take that.
All in favor?
Then I'll make a motion up to 10,000 on any on events that we have planned. Like you said, we're going to have the Derby event coming up, and then I don't know what exactly the quantities, if they're going to be reaching out or not.
We're not really doing the Derby and actually getting
Have it put together.
Well, what we've done in the past is, remember, it was like when Humpty Fest came up, we allocated up to $10,000 and all this stuff, of course, we file, we show where the money's expended and it's reviewed by the board.
See, we're going to have to go ahead and book the screen and things though for the Derby event.
I think for the screen, you had to make a 50%.
You have to go ahead and book, and then the stage, Kim actually said the stage needed to be booked out at least 2 months in advance.
What I'm saying is, if we're gonna do the Derby, it sounds like we're definitely doing the Derby, we can okay expenditures for the chair to make up to $10,000. Of course, if, with that, I mean, you have to have another sign on the check.
Yeah, and it's gonna be way more than that anyway. So, I mean, it's just as quick as you can put that together. That would help out a lot.
Because if we can get a budget for the individual event, then we can
Yeah,
we can do a 25% overage of that and just
And
that
I
way.
mean, like I said, like if you all know some things that they use for Derby, I mean, I don't mind to see to it, but I can't have like everything on, everything can be on my plate.
Well,
I can't take it all on.
And with that being spoke, that's why you have to pick and choose, because at some point in time we got to decide on if we're going to have a director in here, and you got to realize that being a director is going to be a lot on the director. So the other option is, do we want to have an executive assistant and an events planner? How do we want to work that out? So that's something we got to look into at some point in
Well, the
time
thing of it
also.
too, I mean, there's 5 of us, there'll eventually be 7 of us. So,
It'll
I
be
mean, I think we
eventually.
can,
I know.
hopefully, I
I'll
think
be
we can
honest,
make
I don't
it.
have a whole lot of time to get out and help. I'll do as much as I can, but it's just,
I will too, but typically, from what I've seen other boards doing is,
not always.
hiring these things out.
Yes.
So that's,
I'll be volunteering to help do the Derby event.
Like I said, I think $10,000 to start towards the Derby event. That's fine. Like I said, that will be.
I just want to get a start
amended.
point to
I
where we
mean,
can.
I think the screen rental was a little over like 4,000.
And then we got the stage.
Yeah, and the thing is, if we don't have a concert, we don't have that stage.
Yeah,
If we do have that concert.
So
If we
there's
do
just
have
so
that
much.
concert, we need to find who we're
Yeah,
having.
there's just so much, Sasha, on getting all this stuff together. I mean, and
The max,
the
the
organizing.
max thing,
Everybody good with okay and $10,000?
Yes, I'll make a
And
motion.
you all can increase
I'll
the next
second it.
meeting if you need to, but $10,000 towards the.
That way, if you have to pay anything down.
Yeah, ahead of time.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor of that one? Motion passed. And then we have, lastly, our updated bylaws. And then those.
These, I hope y'all didn't wear yourself out on all that other stuff, but this is the highlight of the meeting.
Yeah, I just looked at it, looks good.
If they look good to you, I know we emailed them, but everything look okay, so I think they're good.
Can you quickly go over the changes?
Oh, David Johnson. Let's see, the main thing that I did, well, first I made all the Roman numerals match up correct. The main thing I did was that we took the original position, we created the vice chair. We've been using the vice chair in the past, however, it had not been in the bylaws, so we made the vice chairman position. We made it official in the bylaws. Additionally, beforehand, we had a secretary treasurer position, and we split that into one secretary and one treasurer.
Speaking of that.
So we created another office that we did not formally have.
yeah, we did.
Yeah. So, I'll make the motion to accept the amended bylaws.
I'll second it.
Why did you amend them?
That's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. Originally, back when the former Tourism Commission was there, they said they wanted to do something, but they never formally amended the bylaws, just like they made Mike vice chair.
When you say former, is it last year's group? Because I want you to clarify that.
Yes.
They wanted to have a vice chairman and they
The
nominated
late-
Mike.
And there was no vice chairman position,
That
so
whole
let's
train
just
wreck
straighten that out.
at the time period, yes. And there was also, they were gonna move their official meeting place from the city hall to the depot up there, and that, the bylaws were never amended to reflect that. We're keeping it here as far as I understand. And keep in mind, we can always amend the bylaws if we need to do so at some point, but there was a lack of clarity because Mike was vice chair, his position didn't actually exist under the bylaw. Additionally, once we looked at it, we kind of figured out that we needed separate treasurer and secretary positions because they were really just too much, it's too different for what we do.
Pretty much, I'm not trying to be a roadblock of anything. I'm just trying not to get in that mess again where we decide things and put them in place, but they're not actually on paper.
Part of that.
Yeah, so that they're not on
No, we
paper.
couldn't get it moved through.
Yeah, so so anything that gets changed, and we want it to be changed, we want to make sure it gets wrote down in the law, that way.
I famously had somebody ask me about the bylaws, and I was like, I don't know what the bylaws are, I wrote them, so yeah, so I'd like them to be up to date and current. And like I said, it's probably a good idea for anybody to update their bylaws every 2 or 3 years, to see if there's anything to change the circumstance. And it had been probably about 3 or 4 years, I think, maybe since we updated these, so.
Scott's good on the Bible. Listen, he reads that inside and out. He knows when he
I wish I knew them off the back of my head, because they are helpful, they do try to address those issues.
Yes, all in favor?
Okay.
After that, I also would like to make a motion to nominate Sarah as the secretary.
I'll second.
Since that's an open spot that doesn't have anybody in it. Now
All in
that we've
favor?
separated those.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sarah takes much better minutes than I do.
As far as the bylaws, though, I saw some others that had in there that like an electronic vote was okay, like as far as making decisions, like our advertising and marketing company, they resigned because we make decisions outside of a public meeting. So
everything we do pretty much needs to be in a public meeting setting. So, you know, we need to, and I'll say this, I don't think any action was taken relative to the marketing individual. I think the marketing individual resigned. Now, who made the motion second? I'm gonna put that in.
Who made the motion? I did, I motion. Second it.
And who made the second?
And, David made the
Motion second. Okay.
I second it. With that, I just, before we adjourn, I just want to say a couple of things. That I feel like we've had a big undertaking since January the 23rd. I feel like we had 7 months last year that was pretty tough. You know, a lot of the local businesses, Darrell, Carol here, others that, Bree and Amy and Emmy and others. If you own a business, you can tell that our city didn't see a whole lot of activity. And we came onto this commission working together. You know, Sarah's talked, so we've talked, we've reached out in group text, we've emailed. Our chair lady here has took on a big undertaking. And what you're seeing here tonight is just not what's going on. She's in contact with these different entities, probably weekly or daily, plus running her business. And I feel like that she's not only done a tremendous job, but Sasha, I feel like that you're a great leader, and I feel like that over the next 3 years that the community is not only going to support you, but this entire commission as they had in the past. But I feel like that you have a lot to bring to the table. You've already proven that. You come prepared tonight. And to me, I don't know what more we could ask for. And I feel like when you...
It's a lot to take on.
Yeah, and I feel like when she reaches out, whether it's just a thank you or whether it's a response about a shirt like Scott, the extra large sweatshirt, the large I hate to say large sweatshirt. It's a large one. Just makes it worse. But what I want to say is that you all will see over the next few months and several months to come, there is going to be things, and it's not just about having a movie and a drive-in. It's about bringing things here, as this gentleman brought. It's like Darrell spoke up here as a business person. Carol has been here for over 4.5 years, coming to meetings. She was sometimes the only person in this room. I remember sitting here at night, and she would sit here for 3 hours during the meeting. And Mitchell's come on back there, and he's videoing, so when he posts these after the meetings, a lot of people get to see this.
Yes.
And I think that working together with all entities, especially our city, our Parks and Rec, and just everyone working together, I feel like that without a doubt that we're not only going to get things done, but we're going to do great things in this community. Our businesses in this community, when you walk in them, that's what they say. When are you all going to have something? They're paying all this money, and David, you said it numerous times, there's money available. We need to do things and put this money back into the community where it belongs. And Sasha, I want to thank Mike, David, Sarah, each one that's on the board. I want to especially thank you. I want to thank our city council member, Rhonda, for being here. Mark was here earlier. And for everyone that's here, Jennifer back there, thank you all for supporting us. And do we want to go ahead and set a date for a special meeting about the outstanding thing, since we're here?
I probably need to get everything together.
Together,
And then I'll
okay.
get with everybody on
It'll just be after Parks and Rec.
Yes.
We probably need to go to the Parks and Rec meeting, talk to them.
I'm very impressed with all the hard work you guys put in. I'm very impressed with Daryl Dillon for being here for the full 2 hours and 10 minutes or whatever. Very impressive, Daryl.
Thank you all. Our meeting's adjourned.
I make a motion.
Make a motion.
That's
I
right.
second it.
Hey, you all three.